What it do, Moody?
What's up? What's up?
Just chilling, getting ready for this snowstorm that's apparently supposed to happen
Yeah, I'm not ready for it. I
the
mean,
day
I'm
before.
ready, like we're stocked,
Yeah,
but I'm not ready as far as like just me as a human being in the elements.
yeah, especially the
Dealing
fact
with
that it's
this.
supposed to be cold right afterwards, so it's all supposed to just freeze over and turn into ice. It's just going to be annoying to have to deal with for the next few days. And like I said, man, like tomorrow's my birthday, about to turn 36, and just so happens the one rare big snowstorm, especially that we get in the Mid Atlantic, we're getting on my birthday, and I'm like,
Hey,
okay.
it's meant to be. That's a good thing, right?
Apparently, that's what you said. That's a saying or a belief, and
No,
I'm
no,
like,
I'm
I've
not
never
saying
heard
that's a
it.
belief. I'm just saying like the coincidence of it. There's
Yeah,
365 days and it landed on yours. See it as a good thing. That's what I'm saying.
sure. I mean, I remember when I was younger, like it was like elementary school. It snowed on my birthday, and it was dope because I got a day off of school and got to play and everything. But now you're older, it's like I ain't trying to deal with the snow. I already told you my
Yeah.
plans when I actually get the fucking income to do it. It's just to just 3 months out of the year, just move over to some type of warm weather
Mm-hmm.
place and just live out winter there.
Like I said, let's get some never too small condos
Oh,
if
for
we
sure.
could. I'll put one in back in the like a snowy area too.
Hmm.
You know,
So, uh, you got any Percy's?
I do. Yeah, it's already been known 20 years ago, but I said, man, why they do Wallace like that?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just surprised, if anything, that I'm like, dang, he didn't even make it to season 2. So it's funny because it's like obviously this has been known in the culture
Mhm.
forever. So it's so well known that I'm
Well,
like
tell
past
people what you're
spoiler
talking
point.
about. 'Cause you
Well,
just
I'm getting there,
okay.
but yeah, but that's why I said the culture. But granted, besides that HBO great show, The Wire from 2001,
Hmm.
and Michael B. Jordan, Wallace, back when he's 16 years old, getting shot because he wanted to get out the game.
Yeah,
Man, why we gotta do it like this, man? We was boys, man. Why I gotta be like this, man? Why you crying and shit? And then Booty took it and shot him 3 more times. I'm like, dang, man. But yeah, that was it.
yeah.
They shot Wallace.
Everybody remembers him. He's like, yo, that's Wallace. He's like, yo, he's barely in like 8 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he made it to like episode 10.
Yeah,
At least, yeah. But yeah.
but
Either way, that was the only one I had. Yours is award season stuff,
yeah,
clearly.
man. Oscars nominees came out this year on Thursday, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, and we got some history being made with Sinners
Yeah.
breaking the record by two. It was previously held by La La Land, which won it most recently with 14. Before that was
Most
Titanic.
nominations.
Yeah, the most
Yes.
nominations. They had 14 La La Land in 2016. Titanic before that, and then before that was All About Eve. So they all had
Mm.
14. But yeah, they broke it by two. 16 Oscar nominations. The
So
most
all of them.
ever. Yeah,
That's what's
so
up. So they better not play with them. I better see at least 6.
so this is
I
what
need I
they're
need at least 6.
this is
That's
what they're nominated for. They're
name
nominated
the
for
big ones. We don't need to hear all 16.
hey, I mean, it's enough. It's best picture, best actor for Michael B. Jordan, best supporting actress Wumi Masaku, best supporting actor Delroy Lindo, director original screenplay for Ryan Coogler. Those are two separate
Yeah,
awards.
yeah.
Music, score, song for I Lied to You,
Mhm.
cinematography, production design, costume design, sound, editing, makeup and hair, casting, and visual effects.
All right, cool.
I
Yeah,
think
all of that is good.
they can win casting, they can win makeup and hair, costume design, production design, possibly. Screenplay for sure.
Screenplay, yeah. That was the
Um,
first thing that
if he
came to my
wins
mind.
director, he might have to
That'd
win
be a
best.
huge
He
win.
might have to win best picture.
Yeah.
And then maybe I can see.
I think
I
those two
definitely could see Delroy Lindo winning best supporting
those
actor.
two go hand in hand, just to comment on that. Like you said, best director,
Hmm.
best picture. I think if they see him
Yeah.
as in his vision, like holy shit, groundbreaking, then I think that like screenplay, director, and
Mm.
that will be like a clean sweep, those 3.
And then supporting actor, I think Delroy Lindo could have that.
Yeah.
He's in a group with Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro, and but those could kind of cancel each other out. And I
Yeah.
forget the others in there, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, great accomplishment for them. But I'm sure that that's just going to continue the conversation, the social media conversation around Sinners in one battle after another, and
I need to hear
the
6 of those. I need to see at least 6. Because it's still like you got plenty of great competition in other categories. It's not
yeah,
like they've dominated everything. But
I mean, yeah, this was a pretty good year for movies. Like even the Best Picture, the only one that I probably had a problem with being nominated was F1, which is a fun movie, but it ain't Best Picture worthy.
absolutely,
But I mean, yeah, there's definitely some good movies on the that came out last year. So I'm intrigued by how the Oscars plays out, especially with again 16. But like what you call it, the that movie was Zoe Saldana last year that came out on Netflix. That was nominated last year for the most at like 13.
yeah,
And they didn't.
because she won Best Actress.
Yeah, she won like they won 1 or 2 maybe.
It's a woman's name, Amelia Perez.
Yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, I'm excited for the Oscars and seeing how everything kind of plays out.
I think all black people
Michael
gonna
B.
be
Jordan
watching because we show up for our people, so it's like we're gonna be watching.
Michael B.
and
Jordan
being
had
like, hey.
a tough time against Timothée Chalamet for Best Actor, but Timothy's won the last few awards at the other award shows that I could possibly still see Michael B. Jordan pulling it out in the Oscars.
He could. I would imagine that's like a temperature check, though. You know what I'm saying? The other awards, so I could imagine it going similarly to a certain extent. You know,
but
not one for one, but.
Yeah, that's those are our Percy's. We got a lot to get through in wrestling. Got a I guess hyped up pop-up show to talk about and make predictions for. So let's get into the show.
Doors opening. Step back to allow customers to exit.
Ahaba Shahey, Samson, or my acting partner.
Pro, Pro. Re-Up podcast.
A weekly stroll through the avenue of wrestling.
Follow us here on this YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Send us an email at thewrestlingre@gmail.com.
Episode 81 of the Wrestling Re-Up podcast. I want to say that's the Anquan Bolden.
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens, yeah, 81.
Yeah, exactly. Calvin Johnson.
81. Okay. Yeah, that's it. There's receivers
Right,
at this point.
easy,
You know what I'm saying? So this should be easier to remember. Yeah, pretty good week. We're on the road to Royal Rumble still. A lot of things are kind of coming to fruition or being kind of planned out for it. We have Saturday night's main event in like an hour and a half. Got unofficial predictions to make because obviously those aren't kept to the actual record. But you know, it's a good. I feel like these actually work out as just kind of warm-ups to kind of get us ready for the actual pop-up shows when we have like these. Okay, we'll make predictions, but we're not counting them. But it makes me like get my energy ready for next week when we have to make Rumble predictions, especially figure out who our top 3 for who we think the Rumble's going to be.
Oh yeah, right.
So let's get into the flagship. But actually, before we start the flagship, she's on the flagship. But yeah, I came across this bit of news. WWE ref Daphne LaShawn was injured in a car accident. That's the black ref, women ref. That is, she's great. Yeah, she was in a car accident with her partner, who's also a wrestler as well. It was pretty. I haven't seen the pictures, but apparently it was pretty serious. Husband's doing right. She was doing well, and then she started having some like pain issues afterwards, and so just wanted to call that out there and just hope she gets better soon.
All right, yeah. Get well soon to Daphne.
Yeah,
or Daphne.
Daphne.
Oh, Daphne. Okay.
Yeah, was there a Q? Yeah, it's Daphne.
Okay.
But yeah, let's get into the flagship show, Raw. This is one of the last international shows we have right now. Before, I mean, they came back to Montreal. I guess you can count that.
It's North American. We're back on this continent.
But they'll be right across, to Saudi Arabia next week. So, this was in Dublin, Ireland, I want to say, because the main event, I had this as a primo. Punk over Finn to retain his title. I don't think like Finn had a chance just because they kind of built it up pretty quickly. But I will say they did everything to make you like believe that, hey, possibly. Even if they're like, even if it was like a 10% chance, 5% chance, like, hey, maybe they might pull it off.
I don't know how much that is them building it up versus just belief in Finn. I think that's really.
I think Finn, but also just like the crowd, the energy, him coming out to his old music,
I get
all
that.
of that. Just like it just felt like, man, like if there was ever a time to put the belt back on Finn, which he's only held once, and it was only for 24 hours because he broke his shoulder or hurt his shoulder. Like, now would be the time.
I hear what you're saying. Like, you're talking about, like, you know, a shooting star. You know what I mean? That's how I would take it. Because, like you said, you started this off with Finn did not really have a chance.
Yeah.
So
That's
again,
yeah,
that's where I'm like,
I would have never believed that. I'm glad. I know he wasn't going to win this, but it gave me.
It's, if anything,
they built enough into the show where I was like, man, like, well, we might be able to pull it off. Even knowing WWE's track record with having wrestlers wrestle in their hometown and knowing that you're more likely to lose.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe.
No, not even. That's, like I said, that's your belief more than anything.
And that's why,
like you said,
that's why I put it in Primo, because traditionally this would be a mid, but I'm like, nah. It just felt the energy in the room just felt like he might be able to pull this off.
Well, the point that I was going to get to, if anything, that it's a Primo is because with Finn getting hurt, that's the only reason that he's left the title contention, because he was like one of the, you know, Triple H's guys when we talk about like the new generation of picks that were coming in from NXT, because him getting injured, they had to pivot to Kevin Owens. And that's also the one time that we've seen, or the one of the few times we've seen Kevin Owens win the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and also with Finn, we've never seen it. He's always been solid, or more than solid in the ring, one of the best performers. So it's like us as fans have been like, we know if he's always deserved it, you know. So for him to finally get another direct proximity to it and actually get a shot in the hometown is like why you want to believe.
Yeah.
Right. But
you think Finn ever wins it again?
Sure. He can win it again.
Because again, he's not a young pup. He's been in the game for years.
Yeah, exactly. We
only
don't have to get it.
You only got so much time.
Exactly.
He's probably only winning one more. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like he could do it again.
For sure. The other Primo, the only other one up here, because I sat on this for a bit. Actually, I sat on Punk and Finn more.
Yeah,
so.
I thought you had that originally as a mid. Too.
Yeah, because like you said, I was like, yeah, he ain't winning the title. So, but for the match quality of it, I was like, it was the best wrestling that was on the show too, and they gave him like 20 minutes. So I'm like, yeah, that's why I was a Primo. But the other one I had is still, I put this in mid in my head because originally, but I'm like, this is also my hope where I'm like, yo, Heyman keep on bringing up like, yo, like, cause he's been foreshadowing all of this shit. Like he's been 2 steps ahead of Pierce, you know, this entire time where he's like, yo, I'm snitching on you. He's like, yo, you notice you keep putting your hands on people first because Adam Pierce interferes in the 3-on-3 match of the Vision versus Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Penta, and catches Austin Theory with the brass knuckles and takes it from his hands. And then you get in a shouting match between both Pierce and Heyman, and they were doing great because, you know, no mic between them, but like camera's close enough for you to catch them both, which I thought was funny because at a certain point, I think they're like, wrestling training is like you're not actually saying anything, but you have to like
emit the emotion.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's more about. So it was more so like Adam Pierce was just staying in like the angry, why you put your finger in my face? No, you put your finger in my face. That shit. He was like, I'm putting my finger in your face now. So like, as petty as that was, I was like, okay, yeah, y'all got it across. And later, because of that, we see that like, you know, he gets a phone call just like Heyman said he would. And all of a sudden now we gotta reinstate Braun or recall Braun so we can have a face-to-face. So, and then my hope of like the Y2 GM still, I'm like, hey, Adam Pierce might be on his way out. You might get your wish, and Adam Pierce is out as GM. But then I'm not gonna chew up too much more. I thought, what if we swerve right here, right? Because I said GM. Yo, Y2J is a bastard. Wouldn't he be great fucking leading the Vision himself? But then that would also feel like the problem there, the Y2J vortex, right? You could feel like that. I think that's the deceptive thing about, because I had that thought, and then immediately I was like, nigga, hell no.
Yeah, you already got Paul Heyman.
Exactly. I think it would be an interesting dynamic because Jericho's physical, and he's obviously also great on mic. I could see him fucking putting over all those guys with being less physical.
Yeah.
But I thought of him coming in as GM and being like, oh, let me introduce your replacement. It's Heyman. And then bang, code breaker to Heyman. And I'm like, And the Vision is gonna fuck with it because that's kind of like what they do. Like they just do what they
You
want.
think
You
Paul
know?
Heyman's gonna take a code breaker?
I mean, that's a pretty soft move. All he has to do is fall on his
You
chest.
think Paul Heyman can fall on his chest?
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, that was it. Probably really should be a mid, but I'm like thinking if it's not a Royal Rumble return, then I think it's a storyline.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's right here where he returns as either.
I'm
GM.
intrigued by the storyline, but I
Yeah.
have this as a shake simply for the fact that I've put in my hopes up of these GMs having tangible storylines,
Mhm.
whether it be Adam Pearce or Ava. Ava probably has the most
Yeah.
tangible storylines with characters. Nick
Aldis, yeah.
teased it with Roman, but then it just went nowhere.
Mhm.
And so I'm
And Adam
intrigued
Pearce
by-
took a
I'm
spear.
intrigued by the what's happening, but I'm not putting my hopes up that it's
Yeah.
gonna be anything big.
Sure. Understandable. The mids that we agreed on, Becky retaining in the rematch against Maxxine. We had Natayla cheering her on ringside until
Yep.
Maxxine, I forget what she hit her with, but she had her close down to the ropes going for the pin on Becky.
Yeah, and then
Natayla raises Becky's foot and puts it
Yeah.
on the rope.
yeah.
And she just gets like the
Why would you do that, Natty?
oh my god.
Why? After everything?
That's the Reggie. That's the Reggie. I put that in Reggie. Is
Oh,
that why
did
you
you?
said that?
No, I didn't
Oh
see
no,
that.
I put
no,
no. That's exactly the acting from Maxxine right there.
I
was
get it
like,
from a wrestling standpoint, but it's just like you're in
Once
the
again,
middle,
it's the
you're in the
emotion.
middle of the match. Like, don't do that. Like,
exactly. You can be shocked, but it's
just
like
look at her and then be like, bitch, and then go back to fucking wrestling.
exactly because the dumb thing is either going for the person that betrayed you
Yeah.
and not focusing on the match, or OD what she just did, which is like you're so shocked
Yeah.
that for 28 seconds you can only have one thought. What would you do? Oh my god, we were friends, bitch. Like you are also in the middle of a match and she just staring at your ass.
Yeah.
Like
With Becky Lynch at that, this ain't no scrub.
I'm like, come on, like that shit was just so trash
That's
in
funny.
the moment.
I didn't
was
even know
like,
you wrote that as
"Jeez."
a Reggie. I just
No,
like,
that was Reggie as fuck from Maxxine, dog. Like as much as we be talking about her, like wanting to get behind her and ring, I was like,
Yeah.
nigga, take this back to the workshop, like for sure. You need
I get it from a wrestling standpoint. That's just regular wrestling stuff.
That's what I said. It's the emotion. That's why I said it's the acting of it.
CW-ness of wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
But what do you feel about the Natty turn?
It's fine. It's fine. I get because obviously we've gotten all these segments and like we're supposed to care more,
Mhm.
or I know they want me to care more about this. So out of respect, more than anything, I'm willing to watch like where it's gonna keep going. However, how much time this gets going forward, I wonder.
I don't think it needs to be too long, but I do think it's just again, you've run kind of through as many matches as you can with Maxxine and
Becky for sure. Yeah.
That this just gives Maxxine another dance partner who's obviously
really good
she's been
hands.
working
Great.
with.
Yeah, exactly.
That she's gonna make her continue. Like she's been having great matches,
And it's
every time
still
she's been in the
storyline,
ring
too.
with Becky. That she's definitely gonna have great matches with Natty, and this is also a gimmick change for Natty, maybe bringing in more of her, fighting style gimmick that she's been doing on like the other, promotions outside of WWE.
Yeah, like
so,
PWG and shit
yeah,
like that.
and so
yeah.
it's like
her mouth guard and shit.
yeah, so that's where I'm intrigued. I'm in the middle of it just because again, like I do think it's a little bit like definitely Maxxine's gonna come out on top, but hopefully this is reintroducing Natty as a little bit more of a serious contender, even if she wins the title like one last time. Because I know she's been basically transitioned almost like development, but
I think she can win the IC title. I think
I can see that, yeah. I mean,
Natty
any title holding where she just looks like the badass that she is, especially who's got the mouth guard in.
That would be great. I think Natty is the fighter
like
IC champion.
Like what Shayna Baszler or
Exactly.
Ronda Rousey could have been.
Yeah. Or should have been.
Should have
really.
been, yeah.
Yeah, they're real fighters. That's what they should have been. But yeah, that was Reggie as fuck from Maxxine. But the match was mid and like the storyline mid. The other thing we had in here was we saw this coming. AJ putting his career on the line.
You saw
versus
AJ
Gunther.
putting his career on the line this early?
Yeah.
I know his contract apparently is supposed to be ending in like February.
I wouldn't say this
but
early.
like, do you honestly believe? I know we don't have to make a prediction now, but just like early thoughts. Do you honestly believe next week is AJ Styles?
No, it feels too early. No, it feels way too early. And
He's
like,
not going to be at the Royal
when-
Rumble. Like, that's why.
I could think of him going back to TNA.
Even if he got
TNA
like
needs
a
it, but-
30-day extension.
Well, no, of course. Like I said, it feels too early. But
Yeah.
I'm saying I did see it coming, but because they're in direct proximity, like you said, that's Gunther's kind of gimmick right now. So, do I believe that this is AJ Styles' last match in wrestling? Absolutely not.
That's the WWE, not wrestling.
No, I still don't.
So, would you say that he's beating Gunther next week?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I would say right now.
Yeah, obviously not.
I know we're not doing
predictions
predictions right now, but right now, like I said, it feels too early.
that's
where-
how I feel. But maybe I'm like, is there a scenario in which? And I don't
He's
think
also
I
been
don't think they
cheating.
would do this, but would they do the men's Royal Rumble first before the AJ and Gunther match? And let's say AJ wins the Rumble and ends up losing to Gunther.
You don't need AJ to win the Rumble. I think you can have Gunther
I'm
eliminate
just saying to
him.
give him an excuse to be like, I still have one more match, and I'm gonna have my match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
Because Gunther's whole
That's
thing,
an interesting booking.
Gunther's whole reason why he didn't want to join this match was that he was like,
I've already beat
facing
you.
you.
I've already beat you.
Yeah,
That's what
he's
he
like,
also said.
I'm gonna be in the Rumble, and I
Yeah.
don't want to do double duty.
Yeah.
But AJ was like, I'll put my career on the line if you're gonna do it. So obviously Gunther's gonna do double duty. Is AJ gonna do double duty?
I mean, more likely. Well, sure. More likely that Gunther wins the Rumble, though. In that case, still you offset the loss to AJ by winning the Rumble, so it doesn't really matter. And obviously, Gunther is a fucking amazing pick.
Yeah.
He's in his prime as a champion, so it's like putting the strap on him. That's an easy choice. So it could go either way. But like I said, I agree that
it's a
either
toss
way.
up because right now I don't believe this is his last match, but I'm
In
like, there's
wrestling,
got to
definitely
be
not, yeah.
something that happens that protects him, or like maybe.
Well, this is where I think the protection is. He can lose, but Gunther's been a bastard. He's been cheating now. The ring ain't so sacred no more. So he could just cheat to beat AJ. I think that's more like gun to my head next week. That's probably what I'll pick.
The honorable thing for AJ to do would be to retire, even if you lost.
Exactly, because you still wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, because that's clean as a heel, as I would say. You know what I'm saying? Because that's no interference, but hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. So. And then we're going to hate Gunther. That's going to be more nuclear heat for him because we know it's too early.
Yeah.
We feel like it's too early for AJ to be gone. And that's why I think he's going to go to TNA.
That's why this is a mid, because that's why it's intriguing. Because again, like, are we really, is this that quickly going to be AJ's last match?
Yeah, it feels so sudden. Yeah,
But
directly after Cena.
It could possibly happen, especially again, if the rumor is that his contract ends in February. Makes sense that this would be his last match.
Yeah.
But it seems like we would have a little bit more time throughout 2026.
Yeah.
Before AJ.
This feels like it
hangs
should
up.
be SummerSlam, but then apparently the early booking for that is Gunther retiring Brock at SummerSlam. So if that's there, I'm like, okay.
I was like, AJ's got to be there at least till WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got to be there.
I feel until WrestleMania.
Even if his contract ends in February, just sign a fucking 60-day extension.
Whatever. Yeah.
And
you get to Mania. That would suck if he ends like right before.
Yeah.
I mean, Rumble, like you said, Rumble is your favorite, so it's like that's one of the big four.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna end it anywhere, I mean, Rumble's a good one.
Shake. We already talked about one of them where I had Heyman and Pierce continue their beef. The other one, Javon Evans was in a match with El Grande, and it was going well until came back from commercial break, and they pretty much called off the match and took Javon Evans to the back. So it was a no decision, I guess, in that match. No contest.
Yeah.
And it was first believed that he had a pec shoulder injury, but he was actually getting checked out for a concussion, and he was cleared, and he is good to go. So there was some concern that Javon Evans was severely injured, but just for the sudden stoppage of the match. But he seems to be good.
I remember saying on Masked Man, Shoes was like, yo, I like the fact that they just stop it. Now, better safe than sorry for sure.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
with a concussion.
Yeah.
So it's like,
especially as like as many injuries that they went through last year. It's like, yo, we got to be on the safe side just to make sure that we're never in a deficit on like having people available.
Yeah, you know who immediately. So watching this, you know who I checked up on their injury? Zoe Stark.
Oh yeah,
you remember that
severe ACL injury? Yeah.
Bro, no, she did the Adrian Peterson and tore everything.
Yeah,
it was ACL, MCLM in this.
Yeah, and that's so she's coming up on a year, so she's still probably got like at least 6 months to even do. Like,
she's
rehab.
8 months out. She's it's been 8 months since she tore it because it was in May.
Yeah, so she's got at least like 4 more months to.
Yeah,
for a
she's
year.
already.
And then she's still got to be able to like feel comfortable.
Exactly, like she's already obviously clearly up on her legs and like doing shuttle drills and stuff like that. I saw her working out and stuff with the brace
I haven't
on.
seen any of that.
I was on her Instagram, so I was like, but like I said,
That's
seeing Javon.
That's birthday sis too. It's her birthday tomorrow as well.
Yeah, when I saw Javon get injured,
her and Willow.
That's what I was thinking. And I was like, okay, well, she's up and on her feet. So Royal Rumble return, because that's what I was thinking.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, Zoe Stark.
Yeah,
C360.
That'd be a pop.
Yeah.
I want to say big pop because I don't know how the audience is going to react.
I think it'll be dope once they see her.
If it was in Saudi Arabia, because I don't know how their fans take to certain superstars compared to like relative to the other parts of the world or even the United States, that I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like that'd be a huge pop to see her back.
Mm-hmm.
You had one. It was a shake. Rhea.
Oh yeah, I had Rhea trying to. We had the tag team champions out there. Classic Liv and her. Obviously, their beef going way back and like talking shit to Liv, basically directly in her face, talking about how to Roxanne, how she's just gonna stab you in the back. That's her tendency. And which that's what I said last episode. I'm like, yeah, that's very true. So I mean, Rhea remembers it very well and trying to play the mind games because it's like, oh, you're both in the Rumble. How's that gonna work? And then instead of answering, they just beat them down because Raquel, big Tahana Mama, puts some Tahana bombs down on them or on Io, and Rhea eats an oblivion. So
yeah, they got a match tonight.
Judgment Day women staying tall.
Women's tag team champions on Raw. So we'll get to those predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rhea was also talking about like, you guys are both going to be, or y'all going to be in the Rumble. Like, how y'all going to like coexist?
Exactly.
So
if Liv wins this, that would be 5 times for her. She'd be the all-time tag team champion.
Oh, I think you're talking about Rumble. I'm like, she won 5 Rumbles? That's crazy. No, yeah.
No, yeah. 5-time women's tag team champion.
I own that.
Yeah.
Anything else from Raw?
Nah, that's all I got.
Let's head over to the bodega. NXT. Pretty decent show. I had a lot of mids on here.
I had this was super mid to me, where I was like, I mean, not to say I obviously we watched the highlights and everything, so I'm aware of all this stuff, but like you beat me to everything where I'm like, just ditto everything for the most part. And this I could arguably put Zaruka and Ren. If it wasn't Ren QCC, because I'm so into them right now, that would be Shake.
Honestly, that's probably a primo match.
Yeah.
But it's mid for me simply for the fact that it's for the Knockouts Championship. And I just like, again, Aaron Rodgers, I own you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's fighting on the WWE side for a TNA title, they're automatically the favorites. And so it's just like, it's a little disappointing that a WWE title, a wrestler is going to be holding a TNA title.
Yeah.
Most, especially Zaruka. Not Zaruka. Yeah,
they won. Yeah, they won the match.
Yeah, they are most likely going to be holding those titles.
Exactly.
So that is the only reason. That's my pessimism mostly, but the match is probably pretty good. Like some people are saying it's like early match of the year, like, nominee.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I would say go back and watch that in full.
Yeah. I got to watch that one fully through. Maybe I'll push it up. But like, as far as the believability, like I wanted Ren QCC to win.
Yeah.
And I would think that they would lose.
It's crazy that Ren has to like lift up her part of the weight because you just like, I know Kendall Gray is probably dominating that. So it's like, Ren, the group's named after you.
Yeah, right.
I need you to pick up some of this weight. Well, maybe this is called.
You need to channel more of that Charlie
Kendall
Dempsey.
QCC. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here?
But yeah, Zaruka, they're way too established, especially with the Soul Snatcher. It's like, bro, you get that Soul Snatcher, you know it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So
I felt like, if anybody, like, if you want somebody fresh, I would feel like, it's definitely Ren QCC because Fatal Influence and Zaruka been there, done that.
And that's
both of them can easily move up to the main roster.
Yeah, and just to go to your point, you were like, would they make Kendall Gray double champion? I'm like, that's a way to do it.
I feel like they would.
TNA, well, exactly. So it's like, oh yeah, we can do that with the TNA.
Yeah,
we own them. You know what I mean? So you can still, even though it's not WWE, you can still give her the visual of the double champion. Well, we did agree on the Jada and Blake promo.
Yeah, Jada and Blake. I have this as mid, mostly I think on the Jada side.
Yeah,
and I think I don't disagree with what she's saying, but I do think the fact that she's been gone for a while and Blake has done a lot in her time while she's been away.
Already North American
champions and stuff like that. And Jada's never holding a title.
Ever.
Some of the words felt a little hollow.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with what she's saying, but I don't doubt her toughness and her seriousness. Like everything feels legit. I do think there could be she's not as bad as Jade, but like there's a little bit like I want to hear a little bit of some of that bass in your voice.
That's the
but I think what she's saying to Blake, I understand, but it feels a little hollow because I'm like, Blake has accomplished stuff that you haven't even done yet, and you've been here longer than her.
Well, that's where I want to fan the flames on that point.
Obviously in kayfabe, because obviously there's reasons why.
Well, of course we're talking about in kayfabe, but to fan the flames on that point, I'm gonna push you further and be like, yo, like I think it needed, like you said, it was hollow. It was bland, first of all, with her being a face out there. But I think it was a lose-lose position where I'm like, yo, I don't like this from Jada for real. Like this face Jada. But also, if she would have returned as like tweener, sort of heelish, badass, exactly to what you said, you ain't did nothing. So I feel like she did need to come out as a face. However, I didn't believe nothing you were saying.
But that's why I kind of also like this because like we know Jada is legit. And she deserves it holding a title, a singles title. But I'm still 50-50 on who wins out in the
She needs to beat Blake. She needs to beat her.
Does she? She could beat Blake, but I can also see Blake cheating to get the win and then running this back a few more times.
It's like who wins the feud?
I feel like this feud runs a little bit longer, but I do think at the end of it, I think Jada comes out of it.
Well, that's my point. Is that Jada wins the feud.
Yeah.
She needs the feud win, not just the match, obviously, because Blake, we know, is one of the featured women in the division right now that's going to be carrying it.
Yeah.
At least until she doesn't get called up early. But maybe this is the last feud and you actually bake it, you know, and we get, or at least like a good 2 months out of it or something like that. But yeah, I agree. That was mid. Put the spotlight where it's supposed to be.
I think that's also raised it up because I think Blake fucking
Blake's
killed
great.
It. Yeah, he killed it. The spotlight, she looked absolutely stunning.
I think it's so funny because like the fact that platform exists is so like clearly just for Blake, where it's like nobody else uses that until it's like
it works for certain. It works for the pompous characters like Ethan, Oba. I think Trick it works. Blake it works. I think for the ones that have like very boisterous personalities, it works for it to be up there. The Iconics would have been great, you know, or the Inspiration if they were to pop up. Like, I had this as a mid. Ego.
Yeah, I put that as a mid
over Elio to retain his North American title. I was first bummed out about it, but I was like, the fact that he won through cheating just makes me realize I'm like, okay, yes, it's his first match, fine, but he could have won it if Ethan didn't cheat, so you kind of protected him, and then I'm like, okay, I can kind of forgive it. You can kind of run it back again, especially with the interaction that happened afterwards. I think this is what really bumped it up was the Ethan Page Ricky Saints interaction where Ethan was standing on the top of the stage and then Ricky comes out and he's not really speaking to the mic, but you can hear it as the camera, like you said, is close enough and he has the microphone kind of like down here, but it's able to pick up what they're saying. Ricky just basically playing like, yeah, I'm the one that's, you know, like Cody is for the main roster where he's the team QB1.
Yeah.
Ricky's playing QB1 of NXT and saying like, hey, we're carrying this show together. This, that, and a third. You keep doing what you're doing, champ. Go back in the back and take a break because he feels like, yo, you're not going to give up that title, so I don't have to worry about you being in this 6-man ladder match, which furthers makes you think that, hey, maybe he does end up losing the title to Elio or just, what you call it, vacating it and then putting his name in there for the 6-man ladder match for the NXT Championship. Because right now we already have 2 in there, and I'll get to my shake real quick. Shawn Legacy defeated Eli Knight, 2 Evolve guys, or I guess promoted to NXT. And Charlotte Hill beat Josh Briggs, so they're both in. So we have 2 spots already claimed in that ladder match. That's my shake. And I feel like Ethan Page is the most legitimate competitor right now.
Yeah, if he's in there, yeah, for sure.
I think he's going to be in there, and I think would be my number 1 pick in that match.
Yeah. I'd see him at the top of a ladder for sure. Slight sidestep because it is related, but my Reggie is just learning all these kids' names.
Yeah, but
Just-
you're gonna have to go through it, man.
I get it, but I can say that it's Reggie for the week, where I'm like, we're getting more
Yeah,
and more
because when I
featured.
saw that match, I was like, I have no idea who these people are, and I just assumed that they're just evolved people.
That's
I'm like,
exactly
but they're
what they
getting
are.
they're getting a qualifying match for an NXT title shot. I get you want to have like fresh faces and whatnot, and this is kind of like a transitional period. But I'm like, yeah, you can't be just throwing these random ass dudes that I don't even know. But again, that's my fault, not them, because they've been doing the work. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know how much talking they do on. I mean, they haven't done too much talking on it. It's not like mostly from like what I've seen. It's like hard camera on the ring. Like they'll talk like cut promos like towards the camera and shit, and like maybe call somebody out. But we're not like backstage too much and everything like on Evolve.
So what I heard from Mass Man Show was that they were saying Sean Legacy needs to watch tape on Austin Theory to learn how not to be a 5-tool player and just kind of like not be able to like take that next step. Because like again, they're saying basically like he's basically Austin. He has a lot of similar traits to Austin Theory, where Austin Theory is just great at everything. He can kind of promo, he can wrestle, he has to look, all that stuff. Same thing with Sean Legacy. And so it's like, how do you not become Dolph Ziggler? How do you not become Austin Theory, where you just kind of like, yeah, you're just so good at just making people look good.
Yeah, you're a utility player, kind of.
Just, you like you just can't never get to that plateau of just being able to hold the world champion or just like be the guy. So that again, I need to learn more about both of them. Shiloh Hill, it's just not working for me right now.
It's really not.
I'd rather had Josh Briggs win that match
for sure
than Shiloh Hill,
because immediately I would honestly I didn't put it in here, but I said it immediately while watching it. This would be another Reggie. Like, what are we doing with Josh Briggs? With taking that loss? Which, granted,
again, I say he's the Baron Corbin of NXT.
What are we doing with that?
Like, no disrespect to Baron Corbin, because again, Baron Corbin is fucking great. One of my favorite characters. He did a dark match on AEW this week. But he just seems like a good pair of hands. I don't know. Even if he does go into the main roster, he's putting people over and just basically. He's like your level 1 of going up the Mortal Kombat totem pole for whatever. Like if you're working up like on the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
I think he's like level 1 or level 2 on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Of working your way up the ladder.
It is interesting to think about the Baron Corbin comparison, because I think he would be like almost like the final form of that, because like all the potential is there for sure. And I even enjoyed like him winning Money in the Bank and like the Lone Wolf character. But like what do we notice about Broke Corbin was great. Yeah, into Happy Corbin.
King Corbin.
But originally, like the Lone Wolf coming up from NXT without being a champion or anything and having end of day it's super protected and winning Money in the Bank, I think losing Money in the Bank was like, I don't know what that era was, but like that's when we started getting into like the Baron Corbin he joined what was it? The Authority.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh Jesus. That's what happened. But hopefully he can learn from those mistakes or those watching that tape. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And it's funny, they were also talking about how for Eli Knight, it's like, how does WWE, because if you heard that Powerhouse Hobbs, apparently his WWE name is predicted, because motherfuckers be looking at the trademarks that they be making. They WWE trademarked the name Royce Keys. And people are assuming that's supposed to be Powerhouse Hobbs.
That's a good name.
Okay, like I don't have any opinion of it.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard the name. I'm like, Royce is good. I was thinking Royce.
Connecting it to the car, and he's like, oh, you got the Royce with the keys or whatever. But yeah, that's apparently supposed to be Powerhouse Knob's name.
And then I haven't heard that name in WWE at all. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, he could go for a Royce. Sure, he's a big. Keys is kind of cheesy, but just Royce. I mean, that could be a better last name. I mean, if Vince was still here, he dropped their last name anyway. It's just Royce.
They brought him up they brought Eli Knight up because they were like, how in WWE? Because I thought they were going to talk about Kevin Knight and there being Eli Knight, but I'm like, they were talking about Eli Drake,
which is LA Knight. Exactly.
Yeah. And I was like, oh damn, facts. Like,
they got to see who the real Knight is.
But and he's a black dude. I believe he's a black dude, so that's why it made me think about Kevin Knight.
That's also why it stuck out for my Reggie, where I'm like, okay, I remember Eli Knight. He's the one black guy from Evolve.
Yeah.
And then Vanity Project and Callie Armstrong, and that's about it.
I'm going to look through the rest of NXT. Oh, I have one. It's my champion, but I do gotta call out. We have this actually. I have this as Shake. You have this as a mid.
Yeah, Tony D getting arrested.
Yeah, so Tony
showing
D
up.
was making conflict through the entire show.
Yeah,
just beating up everyone's after matches.
Forget about it. It's all over the
all
place.
that stuff.
That
and
like
then
standing
at the end of
spine
it,
buster.
where he jumped. What was the last match?
That was crap. I want to say that was like the Vanity Project match.
No, that wasn't the final, was it?
The
no,
Shawn
yeah, I guess the final
Wasn't it
was
the Shawn
the
Legacy
the
Eli
one-
Knight.
Yeah, the finals was the women's match, but yeah, I think it was that one.
Yeah, Shawn
because-
Legacy Eli Knight was
Afterward, Ava, she came up with some
cops or
Timu
cops.
Timu cops.
Yeah.
yeah, Timu cops.
Not a badge in sight. She came out with not ice, and her face wasn't covered. Like I
And
said before,
she
but,
arrested.
yeah.
She got Tony D arrested, and in the backstage, she was just like, "Yeah, hey, don't spoil my champion."
I mean, how much you want to go into
Caesar,
it? You
Caesar.
going into it? You talking?
But yeah, and then she's like, "I didn't want to have to do this, Tony." And then he ends up getting. And I have this as mid because, like, bro, it's been
Shake
almost Shake.
Yeah.
You have this as a mid. I have
Yeah.
this as Shake. I have this as Shake because you gotta say something at this point.
Yeah, I figured that's what you was gonna say. Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks.
It's been 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks.
And he hasn't said a word about his
This would
motives or
be-
intentions. And I'm like, you're not that engaging right now to make me care for you to not say anything.
You are absolutely telling 100% the truth. I ain't gonna lie. And as I sit and listen to that, I'm willing to believe that that's my fandom of Tony D'Angelo. Where because this could just be as like I'm clearly being hopeful that this is actually storyline versus what this could be is they actually don't know what the fuck they're doing with him.
So again,
know what I'm
last week
saying?
I said
So-
I think maybe the way that Ava looked at Tony last week, I was like, are they working with one another? Okay, I was probably wrong based off of this week's result. Now I'm like, the way because Ricky was on commentary for most of the night, especially during those qualifying matches for the the ladder match,
matches, yeah.
and he had a small stare down with Tony outside after one of the interference matches. After he interfered afterwards, and I'm like, is Ricky paying Tony?
Huh.
Is he kind of working like?
Ricky would do that.
Is he like the Italian hitman? And he's basically like, have we talked about how like Jasper Troy and Josh Briggs should be the APA? Is Tony D basically like, I'm basically working, security protection on Ricky, but like, don't get it twisted. Like, I can turn on Ricky anytime this dude like misses at least one payment. I am like the tow truck.
Sure. Yeah.
You parked there for 5 minutes. I'm towing you, bro. Like, there ain't no waiting.
I would say, I mean, just in a vacuum, would Ricky pay Tony? Yes. And I could even see like getting his character there where it's like, he lost the family and shit. Maybe he's just at like the bottom. Yeah, he's at the bottom. Exactly. He's at the bottom and he's still like loosely a mob character. Then he's like, fuck it, I'm a hitman now, Yeah, I could see that in a vacuum of that segment. Like him working security for Ricky, I'm like, nah. But yeah, I agree that he do gotta say something. So that's why I'm like, I'm sure it's just my fandom of,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's
like
probably
I
what
get
it
it.
is.
Like I said, I'm intrigued, but I'm like, you gotta say something at this point. I need some motive.
And it's gotta be valid too, because if it's a wet fart and it's just
that's what I'm saying. The longer you keep not talking,
exactly,
the more buildup it is. And so like it has to be a valid reason why you've been silent for a month and a half.
And what I will say, what works against him is like even
because right now we're reaching a month on him not saying a damn thing,
and he just went to kayfabe jail. So the very best case scenario, I still think he's behind the 8 ball, even comparison. Because I mean, Dominic obviously is the most recent kayfabe jail, but even with that was a very quick turnaround over the holiday season.
He was just in there for like
he was in there for
24 hours, not even 24 hours, maybe like 12 hours.
Well, exactly. But the thing is like that storyline, like him going to jail and returning, like he returned at what is that Mania in the
he was there before there.
I know, but I'm saying he made the entrance. Like he was like
at Mania,
at Mania, and he was actually in there for like I think he was off Raw for like a week, and that was it. Versus Tony showing up and not doing anything except for
again sitting in the top of the crowd,
exactly
watching over. And I'm like, I was like, I don't even notice you. Like the only reason I know that's happening is me reading the Bleacher reports, and I'm like, oh, Tony was spotted in the back. I'm like, I didn't even notice it when that was happening.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm intrigued, but like you're wearing me thin right now.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it.
I'm looking to see if there was anything. I don't think there was anything. We talked about Sean and Eli. We talked about I think the match is primo, but again, the fact that it's for the Knockouts title and not for something like the women's title, tag team titles, I'm like, I have less confidence that they're not going to win. The WWE side is not going to win those titles.
Yeah.
The fact that it's Knockouts title, I'm like, yeah, they're definitely winning.
I mean, they got to build those up too, right? Because you got to think the women's tag team titles, think about where those are right now. You know what I'm saying? That's like the main roster women are surrounding that. So
yeah,
you're going to have to like elevate your NXT, because that used to be the NXT women's tag team titles, you know, before they got unified. So, hey, you're going to have to get the women's tag teams over somehow. So use TNAs, you know?
Let's go to the coffee shop.
Yep. Best matchup here. Death Riders getting the win over the Don Callis family. To me, this was nothing but a car wreck, which was awesome. Like seeing Lance Archer, like, because this was like the also sparingly used the end of the bench Don Callis family with Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, and forgive me for forgetting the last guy, but this was still fun as hell versus Moxley, Yuta, and Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia eating a fucking like missile drop, or basically a coast to coast with a trash can on his head.
Yeah.
You get Lance Archer choke slamming. I believe that was Daniel Garcia again. Daniel Garcia got his ass beat in this match, or it might have been Wheeler Yuta through the timekeepers area, the table that was over the barricade. Moxley, I saw a post that said like Moxley is 0-3 with barbed wire tables.
Yeah.
From AEW. It's like every time he's pulled it out, it's always him eating it. Yeah, because he ate that sidewalk slam. Lance Archer, super over.
Yeah, and then don't forget even the Marina Shafir.
Yeah.
Getting choke slam and then turning into an armbar.
Yeah. Gets the triangle like on him. Yeah.
That was great too. Great test of feat of strength. Obviously, she's still a muscular woman, but still like probably lighter than like a typical guy.
For sure.
To be able to do something like that, because he had her up and then she immediately just like put her legs up and then like turned into the arm. And he was still standing up, holding her up. I'm like, yo, the fact that y'all be able to pull this off is highly impressive. And then
I said in that moment, I was like, yo, you gotta put her over.
Yeah.
Like,
she's been killing it. Like, she still got some work to do as far as like ring technician, but like that's not what you expect of her. As long as you're physical badass.
Yeah.
You're
and like I said, I love her. And
make it believable.
Guys.
Yeah.
Then that's what I'm saying, because that's what I meant by because obviously she's been getting put over a whole lot recently. She's been featured way more. But I mean, put over with the guys where we know as her as a character, you know, she don't give a fuck. She's training with Moxley. Like, she's the only woman in the Death Riders.
She got abused by her husband.
Yeah, it's basically, You know what I'm saying? That's why she left in the Death Riders now. But, even getting I think then she put a mother's milk in on, who was that? Not Wheeler. Wheeler's on
Archer? No, you did the armbar on Archer.
Yeah, she did the armbar. She did the triangle on him, but that was still good. Had him like passing out and shit. Like, and then we get a Rocky Romero. He's in the Dragon Slayer from Daniel Garcia, and then Moxley comes out with a stomp.
Yeah.
Not a tap out, but just a pass out, because you know the stomp knocks him out. Hechicero. That's who the last person was. Yeah. But yeah, that was a fun match. That was great.
Yeah, I'll put that as primo as well. You have this as mid, but I also put it at primo.
No, that was a primo.
No, I'm saying this. What I'm about to say is Swerve, Alex, Kevin Knight, primo.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like obviously Swerve is going to win this, but again, you made me believe.
Yeah. Kevin. Yeah.
You made me believe that Kevin Knight could pull this possibly out.
Yeah.
I would have not been surprised if he was able to pull the upset out.
And that's the interesting thing about like AEW, especially like, I mean, we just came out of the Continental Classic, but that's where you're gonna be like, holy shit. I mean, we don't have the ability to watch G1, but it's definitely the best tournament we got over here, in my opinion, because that's where it feels like, fucking Speedball Mike Bailey, Pendo Okada. you know, in the Continental Classic. That's when it's like, oh shit, just feels like anything can happen. AEW just has that feel.
Yeah, it
has way more of
it does
that.
feel like anything could possibly happen. A little bit like WWE is a little bit more formulaic in that.
Like, there's no way Roman would ever lose to like.
Yeah.
I don't
like I said,
fucking know.
even that Finn is
Austin
not
Theory.
losing to CM Punk with the amount of build. Like we are set to the WWE storytelling mechanics of like, no, you got to have at least more than 2 weeks
for sure for me to believe
that Finn is going to be CM Punk. Even though I do think CM Punk can easily lose this title anytime. Yeah. And not to say CM, I think it's more of the character of CM Punk just being the old man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think what I love going back to, I guess, the CM Punk Finn thing match is with CM Punk and his title reign, it just feels like it's the wily vet.
Yeah, he's dying every time. Like he looks like he's dying.
This feels like his last time holding a world title.
Yeah.
And the fact that he keeps defending it and the way that he's able to use his veteran savviness to be able to retain it, it's like, how long are you going to be able to last on that is a great storyline.
Bro, every time that he's getting somebody up for that last GTS, you're like, can he even get him up? Like, his legs are straight. Yeah, his character work is great because I can imagine, like, hey, this is why he says he's the best in the world, right? Because he understands the position that he's in. Look at our CM Punk segment in the middle of AEW.
Right.
Like, you just took us there. You're taking us there. But
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that Jack Perry that he got in a fight with.
But
Swerve and Kevin Knight, like I said, it's the same dynamic where I'm like, Kevin Knight maybe believe, even though I know 98%.
Yeah, he's not going to win.
He's not going to win this match.
But when he hit that UFO splash, though, and you're like, hey, that's the finisher, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know how many times you watch a wrestling match, like, casually, knowing that you know what the outcome is, and then something happens in that match where they hit their finisher, and then the ref goes down to count, you're like, 1, 2, and then you're like, oh, snap! I literally thought that was 3. Mm-hmm. That's how it felt a lot with that match. So.
Yeah, and remember, even just last week, just to echo that point, I put a Reggie for SmackDown because I was like, I just called the entire show. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to subvert exactly what you're thinking.
That's why it's a primo for me,
us,
but I can understand why it's a mid.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then also the exact same reason, because I would honestly say this was Swerve Kevin Knight was a better match, but man, I told you, I'm getting there with. I'm already there with Speedball because
I might have picked the Death Riders DFC as a mid, just for the fact that I'm like, yo, y'all doing these death matches like on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, like literally on a Wednesday, like a random Wednesday. Like on Masked Man, they said the same shit. They were like, where did this match come from? How did we elevate to a death match that quickly?
Hey, it's not a death match; it's a street fight.
This is like Finn facing. CM Punk for the title. It was like, it just happened so quickly.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I don't appreciate, but like, again, what they did, I'm like, it's primo.
It should be faction warfare. When you ever thinking about, like, as big as Don Callis family is, and as big as an entity as the Death Riders have been, it's like, yo, that should be something huge. Like, you want to see that in like blood and guts. Yeah. That's where I think that should go down at. But yeah, just to, like I said, to echo the Swerve and Kevin Knight, like I said, exact same reason mid, but Samoa Joe and Speedball, like those kicks. Whenever Speedball is already pretty small.
Yeah.
So it just works to his advantage. When you have like a giant target like Samoa Joe that he can just absorb it. Like he's like a Snorlax. He's out there just kicking a Hitmon. Yeah. That's what that was. That was Hitmonlee versus Snorlax. And like he just was absorbing it, but he was fucking, you could hear the solid contact. Like
Snorlax was asleep and then recovering all those hit points.
And then eventually, he wins with a predictable, muscle buster in the end. But hey, when he's fucking roundhousing and like you gotta chop down that big man.
That's why I probably, for the same reason that you have Swerve and Kevin Knight in mid. But I would have this in mid where I'm like, I can't suspend my disbelief enough that Speedball could pull this out. Right now.
It's like that's 150 pounds, this man, or like 120. At least like Kevin Knight and Swerve are like close.
Last one as a match, not match, but I want to call out that we might be conflicted in. I'm gonna check Bleach Report real quick. Kenny Omega over Josh Knight. You have that as a mid. I'm teasing primo.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that, like, again, I watched the highlights, so I need to watch the full match again. But I feel like there was a lot of great in that match.
Mm-hmm.
They gave it a B plus. Like, and I'm like, man, the move that sticks out to me is like the world's strongest slam that Josh
On the
did,
apron,
that
yeah.
he did.
Josh
Kenny,
Alexander.
he
yeah.
did to Kenny on the apron, and
Mhm.
again, knowing Kenny's medical history with the diverticulitis,
Mhm.
and I'm like, man, any move that this dude takes to like the abdomen, rib area, I'm just like, Kenny's intestines are going to
yeah, exactly.
hit his fucking body.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like watching Daniel Bryan taking a German suplex from Brock Lesnar.
Every time he starts
he's just
doing
like
this,
throwing them halfway across the ring, and then Daniel Bryan's laying on the back of his neck. You're like, oh my God, Daniel Bryan, stop it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, man, like Josh Alexander, like his ring getup, it's working for me, but it's also
weapon,
I got it. Like it works, but it looks cheesy, but it works, and he looks like a complete badass with it. And I think the problem that WWE has that I don't think that AEW has is that AEW does making you look like a badass. If your character gimmick is being a badass, they do a great job of making you look like a badass, and Josh Alexander does that well.
Yeah.
I think like Jade, we'll get to that when we get to SmackDown. Who else is another one? I think Jordan
Big
Gray.
Badass.
There's certain people on
she
the
can
WWE,
be. I think she's a
there's
softie.
some people on the WWE side where they try to make you look like a badass, where it just feels like you're playing the part.
Becky's
than,
fucking great though.
No, Becky's great.
Yeah,
I'm saying like someone like
top.
No disrespect to Jade, but like she's the first one that comes to mind. But like Jade, I'm like, I believe what she's saying, but the way she's saying it, doesn't come off as badass. It feels like you're reading a script, and I'm like, AEW doesn't have that problem. Like whether it be Marina Shafir or Josh Alexander, or John Moxley. You know, like if you are supposed to come off as a badass, maybe the only one that probably doesn't work is Wheeler Yuta. I don't believe that dude being a badass.
I don't think
as far as like his moveset implies like I can physically fuck you up, but when you talk, I'm like, bro.
It's funny because I don't think of Wheeler Yuta as a badass at all. I think the Death Riders as a whole are badasses, mostly because of the big three. I would say are Moxley, Claudio for sure, Top Lieutenant, and then Marina now. I mean, they've featured her a lot, but Pac, for sure. Pac is of course a badass.
Would you put Daniel Garcia in there?
No.
Okay.
No, he's brand new. Also, he's got to earn his spot for real. I mean, he is in there, but like Wheeler Yuta, remember early on, it was beating it. He's the whipping boy.
Yeah.
He's the least badass out of everybody. So he's the one who's been like early J when he was beat into submission. That's what Wheeler Yuta is. Even when he was first in the group and Darby Allin was coming after them, and they all were like, "Oh, we got to get out of here." They jump in the truck and they just leave Wheeler, and then he's like, "No, wait," and they have to stop. He jumps in the back and they're like, "Yo, they don't give a fuck about Wheeler."
Yeah,
but he's lowest on the totem.
But I put Kenny Josh as towing the border of Primo.
Yeah, no, great match in ring. Mid because I mean, I guess you could always do like, I mean, when Don Callis has like 8 guys or 9 guys on the roster,
you got to run through the gauntlet.
That's what it seems like, and I'm just like, kind of want like, and Kenny did just say last week, if I gotta like, he's gonna work his way up. So I guess
Don Callis has plenty of fucking members.
Exactly. I'm just like, I'm
Andrade, and, Lance Archer, Hechicero.
Yeah, I'm hoping like I just don't. I guess I'm already anticipating me getting tired of Kenny versus just like Don Callis because they have so much history that he's gonna
work his way up to Okada.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The last thing I had on here in Shake was I haven't no Reggie. But the MJF and Brody King promo. It did get exactly what I thought. I thought we was gonna get a Brody feature for the title, or at least putting himself up there.
Did they talk about anything about Brody? Possibly like I feel like MJF teased Brody turning on.
That's what you were saying last week. Yeah.
Did he not mention that? I feel like I thought that was mentioned. Maybe I'm just
because I mean Brody was still playing it straight, like you're gonna pay for what you did to Bandito. And when he challenged him, he was like, "Yo, who the fuck are you? Like you haven't like not literally that, but he was just like." I thought it was great work. I mean, obviously Max is great, but I thought it was great work from him, like still towing the line of like talking shit, but this man is still 100 pounds bigger than you, and being a sniveling heel, but like, hey, still being real with them, being like, yo, who have you beaten for you to come in here and talk? At least Bandito won the diamond ring, you know? And I think that's what you're talking about, where he was putting Bandito over to Brody. Like, at least he did this. And it was kind of like, I think it was like a low key mind game with him, you know, to possibly sow that seed. But, and also MJF being the one to back out of the ring, even though he's the champion. So, but yeah, just talking shit and being I'm the best. Because we did get like 5 minutes of just MJF, I'm the best talk before Brody came out.
You also had your girls.
Oh yeah, I did forget that. Yeah,
losing to Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford.
I need to remember their tag team name. They're Mega Some. Anybody with Mega and Bayne is Mega.
Yeah,
because she's the Mega sis. But I mean, Fate's Descent. I need Zarya to name her F5. Because it is WWE, so they would probably just call it F5, but I do not recall them ever saying F5 or saying any type of finisher name for Zarya, where I love the exact same move, the F5 for Megan Bayne, she calls Fate's Descent. And, but we don't get that though. W for this, we get the old school Legion of Doom, the Doomsday device, when Megan Bayne has, Mina Shirakawa up on the shoulders and Penelope Ford, does the diving clothesline for the win. So, and honestly took that perfectly. It is a super, I don't want to say basic move because it is you still take coordination. I mean, you can get somebody up on your shoulders, electric chair, but
yeah,
the timing to have somebody because, you've seen that move where guys will push their legs. So the person will flip and go legs over their head. They'll go flip end over end and the person is still standing there, versus what I prefer, which is what they did, when the person just drops with them with an electric chair drop. So it's perfectly timed and everybody just comes down together. And it, to me, is more impactful. Although I do understand it's damn, they fucking spike their head on the ground. But that's also where I'm that's not necessarily what you want to do. William Regal warning, hey, stop fucking targeting your head and neck, people, so very smoothly done. And those women tag titles, we care about them, so I'm sure they're gonna get the that was number one contendership. Yeah, so they're next in line against Babes of Wrath. Looking forward to that. And that's it from the bodega.
All right, same here for me. And we can head straight over to Book of Wrestling, the gallery.
Yep.
3 items in the gallery today. Let's start. Well, I'll let you start off. Which one you want to start off with?
Sure, I'll go with the one that the historical one. That's what I'll go with. January 20th, 98, the passing of a groundbreaker. Bobo Brazil, one of the key figures in breaking down barriers in African American wrestlers, passed away in St. Joseph, Michigan, from complications after a stroke. He was 74 years old, and in October 1962, Brazil became the first African American NWA champion when he beat Nature Boy Buddy Rogers.
Wow.
So
that is definitely some new knowledge for me. I have never heard of this man.
This is why I had to put it on
crazy.
There.
Yeah, that's definitely a Book of Wrestling worthy submission that we have here. I'll go with the second oldest one here. January 19th, 1992, the greatest Royal Rumble, really. 1992, the WWF Royal Rumble pay-per-view took place at the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany, New York. The main event saw Ric Flair win the vacant WWF Championship in what most fans consider the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. This was the first time the title belt had been offered as a prize in the match. Flair, who only found out that he was going to win the match moments after he arrived at the arena, was booked to showcase his endurance by setting the new record length in the match. He entered the Rumble number 3, lasted over 59 minutes until the end of the match. The star propelled showcased in this Rumble was unparalleled. The likes of Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, The Undertaker, Jake Roberts, Ted DiBiase, Sid Justice, Roddy Piper, Sergeant Slaughter, British Bulldog, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Shawn Michaels, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, The Big Boss Man, and many more took part. The match itself is also renowned for its arguably the greatest commentary performance in the history from Bobby the Brain Heenan. The furthering history was set on the card when Roddy Piper snared the Intercontinental Championship from the Mountie to bag his first and only WWF singles title. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I know the Ric Flair part of it, but the fact that Rowdy, that was his first and only
His only title.
Crazy.
Yeah,
in 92.
Yeah.
That's so late. But yeah, the Ric Flair, and that's where he has the iconic promo afterwards. Like, this is the greatest moment of my life, and winning this title and putting the title belt over. So, yeah, definitely. Have you seen that match?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, granted, this was where it was crowded because it is Royal Rumble season. So, like, looking through the history, everything is just Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble. So I was like, all right, let me just go with the easy big one to just be like, hey, that was basically the dream team, but in the Rumble. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many legends in that. The most recent one, I just mentioned this offhandedly, the other day, but it's been 5 years of Bianca Belair, or more than 5 years, but 5 years since this moment.
With 5 years,
Bianca's Ultimate Athlete Challenge on an episode of SmackDown. Bianca Belair defeated Bayley in the Ultimate Athlete Obstacle Course Challenge, and to close the show, Kevin Owens put Roman Reigns through the announce table with a pop-up power bomb ahead of their match at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember this. This is when she had Otis on her back running around and she ran hurdles and stuff like this. And thinking about, I'm like, dang, it's been 5 years since then. I'm like, man, she's done it so quick. Because I felt like her doing this feels like very like lower mid card. Like she was like just
getting her feet wet on the main roster.
Exactly. Because she doesn't win until she beats Sasha in Mania. Where I'm like, dang, it's been so fucking quick, like all that she's done in like 5 years.
Yeah,
that's
why she's.
And also the only second black wrestler to win the Royal Rumble. The Rock being the first, and that was the Book of Wrestling. I noticed you took down the TNA corner. You put it up here for a bit, and I was surprised you put it up.
Yeah, just for the fact that we still got to build up. Whatever if they're gonna have a consistent store.
I mean, right now
you're still like, are we watching on a regular basis? Not quite yet. And so it's like, especially for me, because usually Thursday's a movie day.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I'm not doing it.
It was noteworthy in the sense that like we had the celebration from Mike Santana, and we got a turn on the system, like an internal turn, where Johnny Dongo, or the former Fandango, he just had his last match, so this was his last appearance, and the whole system came out, the faction that Moose and him is a part of. And then he says, hey, I'm going to pick the next guy to like just come and replace me. The best guy for the system. Bear Bronson comes out, shakes his hand. Thank you. And then Eddie Edwards low blows Dango. And you're like, and Moose is like, what the hell? Cedric Alexander comes in for reinforcements. Seth Rollins steel chair shot to the back of Moose.
Yeah.
New system in place.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay. And also later on, Cedric beat him clean in the main event where he beat, Moose. So I was like, all right, that's like a full kick out.
Yeah.
So
we also got a return to Dana Brooke.
Ash by Elegance.
Yeah, Ash by
Be
Elegance.
respectful.
Sorry, my bad.
That's the only reason where I would be like, hopefully they don't lose it. They don't lose the titles just because Ash just came back. So but I'm with you. It's WWE. So it's like, hey, those titles belong to, hey. We don't got no TNA titles right now. Hey, run that. They don't got, who's the T? Oh, yeah, because it's Lei Yingli and, Mike Santana. So, oh, no, they got what's his name? Stax. Stax has the international title. Yeah. So that makes it believable. They got one already. Maybe, I'm going to say the Elegance brand retains just because of that.
Let's get over to SmackDown.
Yep. This was a very good That was very high as per usual.
Yeah,
but
they made good use of their 3 hours. So I'll give them that.
yeah.
Um,
In the moment, I was like you mentioned, I was like, damn, this is a lot. You were like, we got a whole nother hour 15
Yeah.
of this.
Primo that we agree upon.
Mhm.
Cody and Jacob promo.
Yeah.
Backstage segment. Typical, but I think I put this in Primo just to bring up back an old bit of Cody saying nigga.
Nah, nigger.
Oh,
Hard
yeah,
R.
it's
Yeah.
hard R.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
He was teetering on it. Your decisions are the reason you went to prison, Jacob.
Yeah.
You worthless piece of shit. That's why you're nothing but a gutter snake. Fucking ghetto.
He said all of that. That's verbatim.
Exactly. Ghetto fucking Polynesian disappointment for your family. That's why your daughters haven't seen you in so long and shit. Like, that's why you got travel issues.
Cody was saying so much
Man.
vulgar stuff.
I wish Jacob would have said more. I mean, he did. This was the most, like, we've got more than just like, you better get down and lay down, you know, because he still, that was very thick in there. But I would say 50% of Jacob was that. But then he did give us 50% more like, hey, nah, you put your hands on me, dog. Like, exactly like we thought was going to happen. And I guess he just got, I want to watch it again to see, so I could dissect it better. You remember specifically what he was saying?
Not exactly.
Okay. I think it's just like the, you think you better than me kind of situation. And that's why he bring up, you know, being fresh out the pen, you know, locked up 23 hours. You want to go night-night, nigga? You trying to go night-night, nigga? Like, he should start doing the Kevin Hart in the thread.
Hey, he had all red on.
Yeah, he
definitely
did.
blooding out there. Like, he was big and back being booed. So I thought that was really enjoyable. Your primo,
yeah,
I had as a mid, Mello over Ilya with a Miz interference.
Yeah, I'm not gonna punish the match for the Miz interference because obviously prefer for it to be clean.
It's that. It is also like Ilya is like.
Yeah. No. Oh, sure. Well, sure. I mean,
they
this is where I don't know. Just because I mentioned
relative to like this is probably a primo for anybody else, but like for them and what they put on, this is a mid.
I mentioned the fact that like obviously these guys have a crazy amount of chemistry, like because Ilya was the guy that Carmelo had to topple back at NXT, you know, 2.0, and those guys were amazing. And the momentum, just thinking about that run, it did take a while to heat up because I honestly wasn't into Braun Breaker at the beginning of 2.0, but the momentum of Ilya into Carmelo into Oba and Trick, is like great. Like that run of champions is pretty. Like what they put on is great. You know, it's been solid momentum for the bit. What I would say is the main guy on the show. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, the chemistry was immaculate, and yeah, we got the Miz interference where Ilya is going for. I was saying, hey, we need to get a super H bomb, and I think that might have been what he was going to do. Or actually, no, he does the diving senton. That's what it was, probably. And then Miz just pushes him off. He falls on the, gets hung up on the rope, and then it's a great sell of the first 48, 1, 2, 3. But it's like, all right, why did the Miz help him? You know. Other than obviously just slotting himself next to Mello to be like, eventually stab him and get a title shot. So
I mean, I think that's more so what it is. I don't even think he's trying to be like side with him. I think it's just more of like
you want to be the one to beat him. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I mean, if that's the case, I feel that, but I feel like Ilya would have to come see you. You got to see Ilya next week. There's no.
It's an open challenge.
It is true.
Anybody.
No, absolutely. I just mean Ilya as a character should say something. You know, I would imagine he's going to say something next week. But the mids, what I got up here as mid is the Trick winning over Damian. Since we were talking about or I talked about Trick slightly. I noticed we didn't put that on here immediately because this was the main event.
Yeah.
In one of the feature matches for the Fatal 4-Way. Trick getting the win over Damian Priest via Sammy DQ, though, because, hey, he's smart. He does the meme. He does do the point to the head as he throws Damian Priest into Sammy, who's on commentary because they had words earlier on. And, yeah, I did mention before, if anything, this would be a primo of, like, man, this was the Trick feature show. They
Yeah.
really
They've been putting him
they
over a
sewed
lot.
him. They sewed him through like the last 2 weeks, and also getting the win over
Mhm.
Damian to be in the match. I'm like, okay, that's you beat a world champion. You know what I'm saying? Granted, no offense to Damian, but I would say he's probably the lowest tier of world champion there is walking around WWE right now.
Sure.
But like, except for Rey Mysterio.
No, I mean, that's
But-
a Hall of Famer though.
yeah, exactly. But as far as active
yeah.
wrestling champions, he's the
That-
lowest.
I was like, I
one.
have this as a mid just for the fact that I'm like, this is just teaser for tonight's match.
Yeah,
And so I'm like,
and Sammy,
whatever. Like I already know that it's gonna end in some type of non-contest
Mhm.
or interference or DQ because it's just getting you ready for tomorrow
yeah.
or tonight.
And then I've noticed you said that you noticed last week, but I was like, yo, he's fucking laying those punches in there. Those are some closed fists Sammy is throwing. Like that was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
Sammy be shooting in the ring.
yeah, I was like, oh shit. Like, is this your welcome to the main roster kid from Sammy
Right.
or something? Like, but I enjoyed it enough.
Let's get into the three mids that we do agree upon.
Yeah.
We had a title change.
Mhm.
MFTs getting over on the wide six.
Yeah.
Sick. To become new tag team champions.
Mhm.
Solo hits the Simone Spike on Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
Ends up hitting
As he
the
was like, that's the
lantern.
outside interference, the numbers game, trying to balance it out and everything.
Ends up hitting the lantern on Dexter Loomis
Yeah.
or Joe Gacy.
Wait, I forget. Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
But and then they end up getting the 1, 2, 3.
But he didn't hit. Oh, it was Solo. Solo hit him.
hit
Yeah,
the-
there
the
you go. Yeah, because they
lantern,
still have
yeah.
the. I was honestly expecting the lantern to break.
Yeah, but they used the bottom of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was gonna do how you would think you would do it by the
Mhm.
handle overhand.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like, I wonder, like, that's gonna be nuclear heat. I was like, if they break that lantern,
They're not breaking that. That's equity right
that's
there.
glass right there too. Though I'm like, come on, that's begging to
should
be.
be.
That's nuclear heat, man. It's begging for it. But yeah,
I feel like that's like
two-time
that's
champion now.
like Drew though,
What?
of just them like they had to win it at some point.
Oh,
We've-
yeah.
we've had this match several times, and the Wyatts have been able to get over on them. That's like at some point they had
Mm-hmm.
to get over on these titles. So I think it was just due time that they won this match.
Mhm.
Nathan Frazier over Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Obviously, quality match between two stellar wrestlers. You had the little kind of fun moment at the end with Axiom putting the mask over
Oh yeah, over Candice
Candice
LeRae's
LeRae's head
That's the finish.
backwards, and she couldn't see. Punches Johnny, ends up getting rolled up for 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Continuation of that
Of
storyline.
the lower mid card beef for the singles guys.
The biggest
or
storyline,
tag
though,
guys, excuse me.
probably is we had a triple threat women's #1 contenders match in which Julia and Kiana James, with Kiana getting the win, even though it was after Lash hit the
Lash
Lash extension.
yeah.
Charlotte ends up spearing her out of the ring, and then
Yeah, we get the finisher like
get
run down.
get Kiana to just come in at the end, run in, and get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because
So-
Kiana hit Nia with 401k,
Mm.
her finisher, which is like that's
Yeah,
sort of
she
like
did. Yeah.
that's like a sling blade face buster because she
Mhm.
comes from behind, but it runs into a.
So that was
Yeah.
a surprise. Do you think Kiana and Julia have a legitimate shot at winning the tag team titles? That would make Julia a double champ.
I'm gonna say no, but I do believe in the image of Julia and Kiana as I believe eventually in the image of Julia as a double champion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's now, but the tag champs is, it's fucking Rhea and Io. Like, you're not
That's
beating
not-
Rhea
yeah.
and Io. You're not beating Rhea or Rio. We might as well just call them their name. Yeah.
What about if it's Judgment Day?
They can beat Judgment Day. I could see them on getting the better of them, or like you said, some interference spot, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess the same thing could happen for Rio, because Liv just hates them too. So
Yeah.
you could always just do that, but straight up, absolutely not.
One thing I don't have listed here, but I gotta put this as primo. Kit Whistling.
Yeah, I didn't put this
And
in here.
Zack
Yeah,
Ryder
no,
promo.
no, Matt Cardona. You being
Matt
disrespectful.
Cardona.
You're dead naming, my nigga.
Yeah.
This is Matt Cardona, but great. Go ahead. Alley-oop.
Yeah. great promo backstage, especially from Kit, just calling out all the toxic masculinity that is just oozing from Matt Cardona's pores.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Asking what's his problem with
absolutely
him.
great.
Yeah. What's your problem with me? What's my problem with you? It's that 10 out of the 10 chiseled jaw that you have,
Yeah.
and that perfectly manicured beard, and those big muscular pecs that you got on your chest. Because he like works out.
He's like, sounds like you're complimenting me.
Exactly.
That's what you would think. It's like,
men don't think about the others around them.
Yeah.
They don't think about that they could ever be wrong. You are toxic, sir.
And then he actually challenges him next week in a one-on-one match, and he's like, "See, that's what happened. You toxic men. You
Result of violence.
And you result of violence at the end of it." So I said actually right after that segment, I was like, he's supposed to be a heel, but I root for him as a face because he's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to channel. Clearly, I just got to channel all of my pretty deadly energy into Kit Wilson because Lord have mercy. Like, I mean, as long as Elton Prince is able to be healthy, like, because a broken neck, anytime, regardless, I ain't shit to play with. And obviously, you don't blame the pair of hands, but once again, it's the neck and head targeting offense because it was Nathan Frazier, like his moonsault into a reverse DDT. That was what injured him.
Yeah,
and that's been forever since we've seen him. And he just posted recently talking about at least he's up in spirits and stuff because just him like getting healthy has been a journey, obviously. So, but yeah, I'm gonna channel all of my pretty deadly love into Kit Wilson and the theme song and like his pose and all that stuff. So
that's it. He's been a great job of getting over. So. Anything else from the flagship, from the boutique?
Yeah, the last thing we agreed on the shake was Jade beating Chelsea in her hometown.
Yeah.
Or her home nation at least.
Yeah.
And this went about as much as you thought it would get. She just quick flurry and then a jaded after about 4 minutes or however long it was, but it went exactly how it should go. And Jade being the framing badass. Did you want to say more about that? You were talking about badass women and such, but
just the fact that like the believability still lacks there for me. I think her moveset and obviously her physique both hit. I do think when she's on the mic, there's just a little bit of bass.
Rhea's obviously covered in tats too, and it's like clearly like has this whole gothic persona sort of, or not even gothic persona, gothic aesthetic that like I think, and also she's one of the heavyweight women, the bigger girl. So
I think there's just a little bit of more comfortability of just being on a live mic that Jade.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Let's get over to these predictions for Saturday night's main event. These predictions do not count to the overall score. We don't have the card on the notion, so I just have it here. It's only 4 matches. This should be pretty quick. First match we'll talk about is that women's tag team match. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Judgment Day of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez for the women's tag team championships. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with a retention.
Yeah, they just won these titles.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a retention. Rio is winning.
Are they fighting together at WrestleMania with these titles? They defending it?
I think. Well, I mean, once again, how many people are gonna be on double duty?
Do we get a 4-way TLC match?
I mean, we're gonna get that at some point.
A TNA, a SmackDown.
We're gonna get that fatal 4-way of the women's tag titles at some point.
3-way, I guess,
or 3-way, whatever. We're gonna. I believe yes, we will get the women's tag team. At least, I think it'll be at least fatal 4-way
at WrestleMania.
Hopefully, I would ideally hopefully so.
And Rhea and Io are holding those titles.
Yeah, make it a crowning moment for somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would go Rio as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if Liv and Roxanne won it, but I do think, like, again, Rio and Ia don't need it. But again, the fact that they won it 2 weeks ago, I do think these are one of the titles you could flip off. Actually, I'm gonna go Judgment Day.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, that would make her 5 times, and like maybe Judgment Day.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Roxanne interfered and somehow ended up,
or Raquel.
Yeah,
exactly, for sure.
Interfering.
I mean, that ain't nothing to sneeze at because once again, Rio is a Franken team.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, they're a storyline Franken team. That's why they're not a Franken team, sort of, because we've come full circle with the story being that Rhea can't beat Io,
Mhm.
but she respects her enough to be like, holy shit, you're amazing, that we should tag together, you
Yeah.
know? And then maybe we can get a full. You think we fully turn on Rhea if she beats down Io?
Yeah.
Okay, I think so too. Maybe we can get that.
No, I say fully turn. I don't know, because
It's gotta be like a, you know, she gives her 2 riptides for no reason or some shit. Like, it's gotta be like you tried
I
to
feel
put her
like
around.
Io's over enough that the crowd would side with her, but I'm like, Rhea is just super
She's
popular.
yeah, because Rio, I mean, Io is like super over and popular.
I don't know
too.
who Rhea
Like,
could turn on that wouldn't make her like still consider her the face.
yeah, right.
Like I think Io would probably be the best bet of like as far as like how could you turn on
Io's
her?
the best one right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's next we got?
We got Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, singles match, straight up singles match. Cody's in the Rumble next week. I'm assuming Jacob's in the Rumble next week as well.
Exactly.
So
I'm going with my booking.
You kind of have to take that in consideration. That can Cody take the L here and then just win the Rumble, or does Jacob get does Jacob end up losing?
I don't have Cody winning the Rumble, but I mean, like you said, it's on the table, and I did look at it. You were right; it is Stone Cold. That's like he's got the most with 3, so he would just be tying Stone Cold. But similarly with Roman, I believe Roman would be at 3 times too, right? Or this would be his 2nd time.
I gotta look at the.
Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go. This is 50-50 just because I think this is a win-win. Either way you go, because I still think it's going further. I want Jacob to win this and then Cody to eliminate Jacob at Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Because I think that momentum of it's more believable that Cody wins Rumble. So that's going to be part of that where we're going to think that he's going to win, but he's not. But that's what I'm going to go with. And then this is just an elevated like SmackDown, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna go with Jacob as well. I guess more so out of the want.
Yeah.
Rather than
I just
like,
want him
the
to win.
Smart choice would be probably picking Cody.
For
If this was
sure.
points, I'd probably pick Cody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jacob. Same thing. I think they end up eliminating each other
Okay.
next week, and I don't think Cody's winning the Rumble. I think they end up continuing this feud.
Yeah. And that's what I said. Hey, put Jacob over at Mania in the stipulation match.
Yeah.
And he'll be one of the featured guys. Like we're gonna be like, oh yeah, he's gonna hold one of the 2 belts this year.
Yeah. Get you a Raider Clan match in Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
nice. A Raider Clan match. You just came up with that. That's good. That sounds dope. And actually in the street, like syringes all over the place, like and shit. Like
match that was just added: AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura singles match.
This is nice because this was like one of those huge things. Like when they had their WrestleMania match, ended up being like kind of like Jay and Jimmy versus Jimmy, where it was like, oh, super disappointing for like what the build was and like the anticipation because their New Japan match is legendary. AJ, yeah,
especially if he has Gunther next week and this possibly is his last match. It's like, guess you got to get one win.
Exactly. Because, I mean, if anything, like you just saying, it's just added. I remember that they did say that, or he challenged him. That was on SmackDown, right? Yeah. We saw that segment. It makes it slightly more believable that, I think AJ would lose next week. That it's like, okay, this is also we talk about breaking kayfabe and being in the Unreal era. This is one of his greatest rivals.
Yeah.
And thinking about like other people that he's worked with, the majority of people ain't in WWE. Cena's already gone and you got Shinsuke here. So that's about it. You know what I'm saying? There's some other people, but on that level of him and his legend, that's about it. So
last match, 4-way title match, number 1 contender match for the Undisputed Championship for the Royal Rumble.
This will be fun.
To face Drew next week. Trick Williams, Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn. I'm sticking with my bet.
Sammy. It's got to be Sammy. Duh. Like, bro, are you kidding me? And this is where, I mean, Sammy
wins in Montreal and then basically has a hometown match in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they
been super over ever since he's been performing there. even if he loses, the fact that you want to make people believe that he possibly could pull it off.
That's where I would way more belief in the sense that like, because we know that the Riyadh show is like just as big, if not bigger, than WrestleMania, just as far as, or probably not now.
I mean, they have 2 nights. They have major shows. They have the Royal Rumble, and they're gonna get a WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. So my thought is, I mean, for it to be the first major show, and like you said, hometown, effectively. I mean, it's not going to be as big. I mean, I would say, dare I say, that would be equivalent of a WrestleMania moment. If Sammy wins at Royal Rumble, that would be just as good as him winning at Mania. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes me believe where I'm like, oh shit, he could fucking, if he walks into Mania as WWE champion.
Yeah.
And then I would have him get destroyed by somebody. But either way.
So we're both picking Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy for sure.
Be your alternative.
And it's Trick. Who else?
Randy and Damian.
Randy. I like Randy just because, like I said, put him on storyline for like capturing 15. Damian, and you said Damian and
Priest. Trick.
And Trick, yeah. Wait, I thought Trick does beat. Oh no, that's right. There was an interruption. So I guess they're both in the match.
Yeah. No, that was just his qualifying match was last week against I forget who, but
yeah,
squash.
But yeah, too early for Trick. But like I said, even the fact that he's in this right now.
Like, I think Randy's a legitimate
for sure
contender for winning the Royal Rumble next week.
Yeah, that's great. Because like I said, I mean, I could see him even without, like I said, winning this, just putting him on path for 15 this year. I think for sure, similar to Cena, we know he's on the way out the door eventually, or pretty soon.
I feel like he got a few more years in him.
Well, yeah, I just mean as far as like title reigns.
Yeah,
you know. Like no time as good as now. Like he's not getting any younger, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
To give us a good like in-ring kind of title reign. So
let's wrap up this show.
Go ahead. Give us your Percy. You said you already gave us halfway.
Yeah, mine is the angry Miz girl from the iconic moment where Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, I forget against who, and ends up winning the WWE Championship. They cut to a little girl in the crowd who's just kind of sitting there super with an angry face, kind of pouting. And I give that to Ava.
Yeah.
For her reaction after Tony D had caused corruption throughout the night and ends up getting him arrested. Just her just standing there the entire time, it just reminded me of like, she was just like a spoiled bratty kid.
That's so
like,
terrible.
I didn't want to do it. And like she was just like, look like the angry Miz girl that she easily gets that title belt. That her emotions and the way that she reacted just was hilarious to me that
night. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we've said it over.
You called it a Reggie.
We said it over and over again. Well, no, the segment like him getting arrested was a mid. I put that as a mid.
The segment has her reaction was Reggie. No, you said
no. I said that was Maxxine had the Reggie.
Okay.
Yeah, but I definitely remember that. I'm just beating a dead horse, being like, yo, Ava, she's a half step above a board where it's just like, it's just bad acting. Like, you know, she's just shaking her head, not saying anything. I told you, she needs more personality.
Yeah.
She needs to be like, not Adam Pearce, but it's like, yo, put a stranglehold on this show. I'm like,
I'm saying, you got to work with Nick Aldis.
I know. We had Dark State, show up and shit. And like,
now in the parking lot.
For real. The NXT parking lot is the most dangerous place in all of wrestling.
Don't want to be there.
Mine, which I thought this was funny too, because I immediately had this thought. Did you see mine? I even made a meme for it.
I read it, but I don't think I picked up on what it was. Yeah.
This was mine. The Punisher. No. Wait. Title going to Triple H. Man, when I saw Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee all raising their arms up together, I was like, bro, we are not doing Lucha House Party again. This is about to be, like you said, the what would be the Santos Escobar and like what is it? LWO. We just got rid of those LWO shirts, bro.
Yeah,
we just got rid of them. If this ends up being fucking Lucha House Party, that's why I was like, no, please don't do this. Please don't absorb Penta into this.
That's a good call. Remember, I was saying that at that time. I was like, raise a heel,
bro.
He's just taking advantage. Yeah, he's just taking advantage of like these luchas that be coming in and be like,
The
"Yo, man,
Lucha
like,
division, man.
watch Ray. Watch for Ray. He might be on a heel turn."
Man,
Putting that in the ether.
I better not see these three or like them backstage warming up together or like, I got your back out there, bro. I'm like, bro.
Watch them win some like Triple H trios titles or something like that. Wherever they might introduce some trios titles.
Oh, great, But that's it for this episode 81. One of the best episodes.
We got Saturday Night's main event starting in an hour.
We got some Peruvian chicken that we're about to pick up.
Yup.
And we're going to catch you next week on a slightly more difficult number to pick, 82.
82. There should be some good ones. We got the Royal Rumble predictions. Looking forward to that. And we'll hopefully get some surprises. Hopefully Jericho, Powerhouse Hobbs, possibly some returning from injury, Bianca. Like I said, the thinking about who's going to be our top 3 predictions for this men's and women's Royal Rumble match should be fun. I feel like we're going to have some good diversity in our picks. But we'll catch y'all next week. Peace, y'all.